This is the SUPER73 S2, an electric Class 2 e-bike by the company SUPER73. And in today's video, I'm going to go over all the quirks and features of this bike and show you why in a market that's so oversaturated with electric bikes, longboards, and skateboards, why this vehicle stands out from the rest. For some background information, the company SUPER73 is an electric motorbike company based out of Southern California, and this is the S2 series, their latest take on the high-performance street-legal electric motorbike that does not require any licensing or registration. The bike is categorized as a Class 2 electric bicycle, meaning it has a power output of about 750 watts and goes up to over 28 miles per hour. Now, depending on where you live, the laws regarding electric bicycles can be drastically different. Here in the state of Washington, a Class 2 e-bike means you can take it on most public trails and bike routes without having any issues at all, as long as you go below 20 miles per hour. To allow the bike to stay within legal guidelines, there's 4 class operations for the bike. Class 1 allows the bike to be pedal only with speeds up to 20 miles per hour. Class 2 allows for pedal assist and some throttle use with speeds up to 20 miles per hour. Class 3 allows for pedaling and throttle with speeds up to 28 miles per hour. In addition to this, there is also an unlimited mode, which allows for speeds up to over 28 miles per hour. For me, the fastest I've ever gone on unlimited mode was a top speed of 38 miles per hour. The bike comes standard with hydraulic disc brakes, 20 by 4.5 inch tires, and front fork suspension. The bike comes equipped also with a standard halo headlight and rear working brake lights. The bike is built on an aluminum alloy frame, meaning it weighs of 73 pounds. However, it's important to note that you can detach the battery on this bike to make it easier to charge, and at that point the bike weighs 63 pounds, which is pretty heavy for an industry standard e-bike. Now, let's talk about range on the bike. SUPER73 states that the bike can get up to 75 miles of range on pedal assist with speeds below 20 miles per hour, or 40 miles of range when you're using only the throttle with speeds of around 25 miles per hour. What I've learned is that the speed is really variable on how you ride. For me, I usually ride pedal only with top speeds of 20 to 25 miles per hour and get a range of about 30 to 45 miles. Let's talk about some other features about the bike. As you saw before, the bike comes equipped with a transflective monochrome LCD display that has Bluetooth connectivity so you can connect it to the SUPER73 app. With this app, you can use features such as being able to turn the lights on and off remotely via your phone, feed directions to the display using Google Maps, and much more. The bike also comes with a 3 amp charger, resulting in a 6 to 7 hour charge time for a full battery. However, you can purchase the 5 amp charger as well and cut that charge time in half, resulting in a 3 to 4 hour charge time for a full battery. The suggested rider height for the S2 series bike is 5'1" to 6'8", with a weight limit of 325 pounds. This means if you really wanted to, you could have 2 people riding on the bike. Let's talk about pros and cons with the bike, and let's start with one of the biggest pros on this list being the bike's styling and aesthetic. One thing I don't like about a lot of these e-bikes on the market is how they look. They often look dorky riding and they just aren't appealing at all to the eye. That's not the case with the SUPER73 S2 series. The bike looks amazing. Everywhere the bike goes, people are always asking questions about it and wanting to learn more, and some people even mistake it for being an actual motorcycle. If I had to determine a score for the styling of the bike, I'd give it a solid 8 out of 10. Now, let's talk about the performance of the bike. I would say that the S2 series is probably one of the best Class 2 e-bikes you can currently purchase on the market right now. It takes hills like no problem, and with a 50% or higher charge of the battery, it can reach speeds up to 20 miles per hour with ease. While there are other e-bikes currently on the market that do perform better than the S2 series in terms of torque and top speed, they're typically twice as expensive and aren't as reliable. So overall, I'd have to give the performance score a 7.5 out of 10. Finally, there's the fun factor of the bike. I can safely say that without a doubt, the S2 series bike is just a blast to ride on, and I keep finding excuses to get myself out of the house and take it out on trips. If you ever get the chance to test ride one of these things, I highly recommend it. Overall, I give the fun factor a 9 out of 10. If the power output of the bike was just tweaked a little bit higher, I could easily see myself giving it a 10 out of 10. Another positive I should mention about the bike is the modding potential for the bike and the community surrounded by this brand. Now, I've seen some crazy builds for these bikes. I think part of the fun with them is that you really can use them as creative expression and also customize them to fit your daily needs, such as having even surfboard racks, cargo racks, different types of headlights, and much, much more. I've never seen a community so strong for a brand of e-bikes, and every day I keep seeing more and more celebrities endorse and actually use these bikes, such as people like Casey Neistat, A$AP Rocky, Justin Bieber, Lil Nas X, even people like Jack Black and Ryan Reynolds. When you own one of these bikes, you really become part of the community, and I think that's just something really cool that I've yet to see in any other brands of e-bikes or any other electric vehicles, really. Now, we gotta talk about the cons about the bike, and I think the biggest one on this list is the price point of the bike. At the time of this recording, the bike is priced on their website at $2,695, which is crazy, and that's not even including taxes or shipping. Credit where it's due, you are getting a lot with the bike for paying this amount of money, but if Super73 ever wants to expand their clientele, or if we just want a future where electric green vehicles are the norm, the price point needs to be at a point where the average person can afford one, and that's just not the case at the moment. There's also the liability factor that ties into this practicality of the bike. Now granted, this bike is so heavy and big that it'd be really hard to steal, but it's not impossible. I'm fortunate enough to where I have a garage to store this bike for when I'm not using it, but if you're living in a place where there's not a lot of storage space, such as an apartment complex, I don't even know where you'd be able to put this thing. Not only this, but I can't even fit this bike into the back of my car without having to take off the wheel or handlebars, so I can't even imagine how other people who are not driving SUVs or big trucks are able to transport this thing without riding it. You would think that being able to connect to the Super73 app, there would be some way to track this bike, but there isn't, and it doesn't come with any anti-theft systems whatsoever. You're going to have to purchase that on your own. So the liability alone for this bike is kind of risky, and I don't know how safe I'd feel leaving it out on the street overnight. I've already heard stories of people having their bikes stolen, so if you're going to invest into this bike, you need to make sure you have a safe place to store it, and you're going to have to invest some more money into anti-theft systems, which can't always be that cheap. One last thing to note is that if the bike ever breaks down, there's not many retailers that will service the bike, meaning you're going to have to send it directly back to Super73, which can take up a lot of time and money. Not only this, but while range anxiety isn't really an issue with the bike, if the bike does run out of power, good luck trying to pedal a 73-pound bike. Look, despite all these factors I gave out, I still strongly believe that the Super73 S2 Bike is one of the best e-bikes you can currently purchase on the market right now. The bike's become a part of my everyday life, and it's just a joy to ride on. It's becoming increasingly obvious that electric bikes and electric vehicles are the future, and this is definitely a great start. Now, I'm not going to say that the bike's for everyone, because $2,700 is just not a realistic price point for the average consumer. But if the bike were priced a little bit cheaper, and if it was easier to get the bike repaired, I would say that this would be an easy recommendation for anyone who's looking for a powerful and great looking e-bike. Overall, I give the score of the bike an 8 out of 10. I think this bike is a great example of what the future may hold for personal electric vehicles, and I look forward to the future where your average consumer can afford a great e-bike like this. But let me know what you guys think. Thanks for watching my video, and I hope you have a great day.